In this video, we'll discuss how large nostrils can relate to sexual and animalistic instincts, as well as ideas to keep in mind. Enjoy. As I've said before in my other videos, the facial features we carry act as symbolic markers for potential expression. So today, we're going to talk about the nose, and specifically the nostril size, and what that means in face reading theory, because we have to remember that face reading theory comes directly out of classical Chinese medicine, and classical Chinese medicine is loaded with coded symbolism. So, first and foremost, let me paint this picture for you. Even in Western science, they say when you're looking at someone's eyes, you're looking at the external marker for their nervous system, because the eyes connect directly to our nervous system and they are the outwardly visual marker for that system. So, Chinese medicine will take that one step further. The ears, we have two of them. They look like kidneys. We have two kidneys. We have two nostrils. And according to face reading theory, the two nostrils relate to our lungs. So when we see large nostrils, we have to look at large lung function. And with large lung function is the coded symbol, the white tiger. So I'm going to talk about that, what that means. And no, it doesn't mean that the Chinese actually believed we had a white tiger living inside of our lungs that could come out and decimate our enemies. They use symbols because it's easy to remember, for one. It's very intuitive and natural. But I'll tell you two specific, the big ones, okay, the two primary reasons. When you use a symbol, for one, it's way easier than remembering bullet point words or written things. Instead of just blind memorization, when you have an image, you can associate a story to an image, and stories can live slightly differently in each person, so it becomes your own, but the core themes stay the same, and they stand the test of time, which is why these symbols have continued to work for thousands of years. The other component is when you use an animal symbol, human beings now have a tie to something outside of themselves. It's a subconscious way of programming people to understand that we have congruency between our rhythms and things in the natural world. So this is at the core of why they do it. So getting back to lung function, when they talk about the white tiger, we have to look at tiger rhythms. Now, I'm not going to do a deep dive into the behavioral rhythms of tigers, but the key themes. Tigers are highly territorial. They can be highly aggressive. They are very good at something called saber rattling, which is where they're able to posture and look dangerous or menacing. Tigers are very dominant sexually. So there are some themes with tiger energy when they talk about how well a person puts their exterior together, how well they're able to attract a mate, and how well they regulate their aggression and when to be dangerous. So this is favorable in Chinese medicine. They say, like, every human being, because we have animalistic instincts, which the nostrils relate to, the size of them, that points to your capacity to be dangerous and aggressive. And at times that is needed, and it has been needed throughout human history. There are times when we need to be aggressive and dangerous. Doesn't mean we should be hurting people, but we should be capable of it. And learning how to wield that energy is good. So, first and foremost, when we see large nostrils, these metrics that I'm talking about, that dominant, aggressive, sexual energy, has to be on the front line. Every person has nostrils, right? Barring some kind of deformity. So everyone's going to wrestle with these themes to a degree, but face reading theory says if these features are large and dominant, those metrics, those themes are going to be more present in your life. Therefore, you should pay attention to them. So that's one. That's what large nostrils point to and indicate. Now, where we have to start looking, and where this looking and paying attention, because this metric can be exacerbated in a not so great way, is when the head is level and we can see the nostrils. So when you look at me level, you can see that you can't see the black space of my nostrils. Now, if I tilt my head up, you can. If the head is level on a person when you're face reading them and their nostrils are showing, what that points to in face reading is that tiger, the white tiger, that animalistic aggression and dominance can come out at inopportune times or comes out in a way that's less than favorable in the person's life terrain. So what I've seen over the years is sometimes people who have this have to pay attention to how they regulate their temper, when to be aggressive, when to draw the sword and when not to. If that is open, what it means is the tiger can rush out a bit faster. The thing you have to remember about face reading is that when I talk about a feature like this, it doesn't explicitly mean these things that I'm saying. What features should be to you when you're reading is something on your radar. It should be something like, hey, we should pay attention to this because this is a metric that could be present, because this might look different because the other facial features on the face have to be taken into consideration. And that is the hardest part about face reading, is that you have to take the features and sort of average them out in relation to everything else. It's like chasing the dragon's tail. It's abstract, it's intuitive, and there's a lot of feeling in there about, okay, well, that's dominant, that's less so dominant. How does that, how does that regulate and show up in the person's life? And it's a lot of Q&A, to be honest. When you're working with somebody, you're like, hey, this is what the symbol means. This is what this means, but that's strong, that's weak. Tell me how you're living so I can see how that's expressing. It's way less about being predictive. It's a lot about hunting and pecking until you find the right expression, and then I can help you augment your life force for the better, in theory. So these are the things to pay attention to if we're seeing large nostrils. The last way I can relate this to you to think about it is Sanpaku. I've talked about this in past videos. You can go up here and check out a video on Sanpaku eyes, what that means. Very loosely though, and in a nutshell, what it means is when the three whites, the bottom white of the eye, okay, the two whites are the two triangular wedges on the outside here when the head is level. When we do this, that's the third white. If the third white is seen when the head is level, this is a life force depleting marker. Again, you can go watch that video to learn more about that. But if the nostrils are showing, you can see the black of the nostrils when the head is at rest, technically, according to face reading theories, that the tiger, the white tiger, that animalistic aggression is leaking out of you a bit. So you need to be mindful on how you regulate that. So, hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. And as always, thanks for your time. Take care.